You've seen an evening with Joe Hendry. And now, a morning with Joe Hendry? That's right, welcome to the brand new talk show. You are here, witnessing the first ever episode of A Morning with Joe Hendry, featuring yours truly, the local hero Joe Hendry, and to my left, the finest manager in all of ICW. He is the one, the only James R. Kennedy. How are you, my friend?
I am awake. I am ready for this action-packed show. Some people say cornflakes are the ideal way to start the day. I disagree. It's Joe Hendry.
That is indeed correct, and why? Because we have an action-packed show for you today. We are talking about the thing that is on everyone's mind. It is the one, the only ICW's annual Square Go, which takes place this Sunday at the Garage in Glasgow. Now let me just explain this to you fans out there. 30, that's right, count them, 30 ICW wrestlers will be battling it out for an opportunity at a future shot at the ICW Heavyweight Championship. So let's get right into it. Let's go to our first guest, who's joining us live via satellite. Now I'll warn you, this man is one bad dude. He is the leader of the NAKs. He is Christopher Renfrew. Chris, how are you, my friend?
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to you too, Chris. First thing I want to ask you today is, as a big Joe Hendry fan, which we know you are, we're glad we can finally get you on here. He's been wanting on for ages, he really has. First thing I want to ask you is, what is your opinion of Damo? Well, give us some words to describe Damo.
Weak, average run of the mill.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. What do you think, James?
For once, Chris Renfrew has dragged his mind out of the gutter to speak sense.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So, on to the next point. If you could describe your favourite wrestler, Joe Hendry, in just one word. I know you're excited, but Joe Hendry in one word. Go for it, Chris.
Strong.
Wow, that's pretty strong words.
Powerful stuff.
That was indeed, but couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So last thing, Chris, when Joe Hendry wins the Square Go, which he inevitably will, cashes in his title opportunity and becomes champion, how long do you think he will reign as the ICW Heavyweight Champion?
Why?
Well, for life. As a
What a vote of confidence.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Chris. We know you've been wanting the show for ages, so thank you for that. Thanks, Chris. So, moving on. Now, our next guest. This man claims to be the most honest man on the ICW roster. He is known as David the Beloved. So, David, welcome to the show. Glad you could come on. This is your chance to make an impact before Square Go. Grab some attention. David, take it away.
I don't know.
Okay, David, don't worry yourself, mate. Just start again. Compose yourself like we do. So composed. Go for it. Once again, David, this is your chance, buddy. Go for it.
I don't know.
It's pretty awkward. Okay, David, you'll have to forgive us. We're on live TV here, so we'll have to improvise a little bit. Instead of communicating with words, if you concede that, in fact, Joe Hendry's the most honest star in all of ICW, and you, in fact, in all likelihood, will probably be thrown over the top rope by him, what to do is just close the door twice instead of once, like a normal person. Yeah. There you have it.
Balanced individual.
So moving on to our next guest. This person got in touch with us to tell us if we were going to have a show of this type, that we had to get him involved. He is the bastion of journalistic integrity. He is the one, the only, our exclusive reporter, DCT David Campbell-Thompson. David, tell us, what have you got planned for this Sunday at the Square Go? Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off there, David. Running out of time, it transpires that, in fact, no one cares. So moving on to the final guest. The final guest of this morning. This man is extremely controversial. He has won the Square Go in the past. He has cashed in his title opportunity and become the ICW Heavyweight Champion. We are talking to the one, the only Red Lightning. Fantastic. Glad you could join us, Red. One thing I want to ask you today is, when you found out Joe Hendry was going to be in the Square Go, what was the mood like in the locker room? What were people thinking? What was the first thing that came into your head?
Let's just stop packing my bags now and just go and get on with our lives and forget about it.
That's
Not surprising.
yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And Red, before you go, if you could sum up again, just as Kristen, if you could sum up your favourite wrestler Joe Hendry in one word, what would it be?
Underrated. Underrated.
That too, you know, both good answers. Yeah,
What a
yeah,
guy.
absolutely. So, so that's us coming to the end of the show now. Just to take off where Red left off. Did you really think it was going to be any different? Think about what's happened in the last 2 months in ICW since Joe Hendry debuted. Think about how the landscape has changed. Did you really think anyone else was going to win the Square Go? It's not about who's going to win, but it's about how are you going to celebrate when Joe Hendry wins the Square Go, cashes in the title opportunity and becomes the ICW Heavyweight Champion. And just remember, before we go, message from the local hero to all of his fans out there. All the ICW fans, remember this. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. Thank you.